Match coverage is extremely effective in college football 26, and in today's video, I'm going to break down my favorite match coverage defense, my adjustments I use when running it, and show you how you can use match coverage to stop all the most powerful offenses in the game. Let's get into it now. So I'm going to take a look at the nickel 2-4 single mug. However, there's really one specific match coverage I want to focus on, which you can find in this formation, and that's going to be the cover 9. The cover 9 is my favorite overall match coverage in this game, and when you know the right adjustments to use with it, it is very overpowered. Now, I'm going to recommend you have autoflip on and go ahead and put your safety width on pinch and your depth on close. This is going to allow this coverage to be safe, even if you don't have the fastest DBs in the game. You can still use these settings and run it very well. So let's first break down how this coverage works, and then I'm going to show you guys all the adjustments I use when running this defense and how exactly I use it to stop all the best offenses in the game. So if you want more content like this, make sure you subscribe to the channel and drop me a like on the video. So the first thing you need to understand about this defense is this is actually a combo coverage. On the left side of the field, you got cover 4 match. On the right side of the field, you have cover 2 match. Now it's very important to understand even though we have different zones on the field, this is not a zone-based defense. It's match. And if you don't understand what match is, essentially, this is almost like imagine delayed man coverage. The zones on the field will match depending upon the route combo that the offense puts out there and the formation they're in. There are different rules, and I'm going to explain how that works. So first of all, the main zones that will actually match will be the hook zones, the 2 deep zones on the left, and then the flat zones. You'll see we have 2 hooks, a 3 rec, and a vert, 2 flat zones, a soft squat, and a quarter flat, and then 3 deep zones. You have these quarter deep zones on the left and a deep half on the right. The deep half is not really going to match. This is protecting over the top in a cover 2, right? Now let's just first explain how the soft squat works. I really like cover 2 match on this game really in general because a lot of people abuse corner routes. And with any other flat zone, a corner route will simply get behind it, but a soft squat will actually match on the corner routes. Now, flat routes will pull a soft squat down. So the one exception would be if the offense had a receiver running into the flat and then, a corner route on the same side, because then the soft squat would have to come down onto that flat route, right? But it's a very effective overall coverage. Now, the vertical hook and the 3 rec hook, they are also going to match. So when you combine this with the soft squat on the right, this is very effective. Now over here, these deep zones, they also match, right? And this is very important to realize that almost every zone on this play does have a matching responsibility. Depending upon offensive formation, like I said, there are different rules, and that's what I'm going to get into now. So some of the most common things you see on this game are people that want to run a formation like this with 3 receivers on one side of the field. They're going to put a corner out, they're going to put a streak, they're going to put a slot fade, and they're probably going to stem the corner out down, and then they're going to have like a drag coming over the middle of the field. Now, when I run this defense, I prefer to run this against guys that run formations like this or bunch type formations with 3 receivers on one side of the field because I understand that these types of formations destroy zone, so zone is almost useless. However, you'll see that this is actually much better. What I like to do is I like to always make sure that the cover 2 side is on the 3 receiver bunch side of the field. So that is very important because this cover 2 match is going to defend the 3 receiver side way better than the cover 4 would. I like to have the cover 4 on the back side of the formation where there's just probably going to be 1 receiver, right? So when I do this, I actually like to use the quarter flat. And the reason why I like to use the quarter flat is against these types of formations, unless the running back is leaking out the backfield, like they motion him and put him on a flat, you really wouldn't have much to do. So you can have almost free roam. So like right here with this specific route combo, this is something that a lot of people abuse online. Watch how good this plays it. So I'm going to go ahead and snap the ball here. I want you guys to see, there is literally nothing open. You'll see exactly what I mean. That flat zone literally latched onto the corner route, and we were easily able to stop this. So you'll see here, the hook zones also matched onto the streak and then the slot fade, and then the soft squat matched the corner. Now, this is important. This is why we have the deep zone over the top, because yes, this vertical hook did get beat, but because the deep zone is over the top, no harm, no foul. Meanwhile, backside, you'll see that this drag route gets matched by that deep zone, and then this safety in the deep zone rotates to the middle to help out. He's basically looking to help. Now, me, I'm the user. I wasn't doing anything on this play, but this is why I like to user this guy because I can free roam. In a situation like this, I would look to help over the middle of the field because that drag did have a step of separation. I would follow to help out on the drag, and then there'd literally be nothing open. Now, I want you guys to see the huge difference here and point out a few things you need to avoid. First of all, when you're playing match, never shade your coverage because if you do, let's say I shade my coverage down or even over the top, either way, whatever. If I shade my coverage, I am taking away the match. When you shade your coverage, you're essentially turning this back into just zone defense. And if you do that, you're going to see the huge difference here. Look how bad a zone defense plays these types of route combos. Real quick, guys, if you want to dominate college football 26 and win more games, sign up for my VIP membership on sportsgamerz.com. You'll get access to all my premium content for the entire year, including all my offensive and defensive ebooks, weekly tip updates, and more. I'm running a limited time sale on my yearly membership where you get 7 months for free and 6 bonus ebooks. Over 99% of our members say that they win more games with our tips. Click the link in the description of this video and start winning more games now. There's receivers open all over the place for easy throws. So never shade your coverage while you're in match. That is a fatal flaw. You cannot do that. Because now, notice here, these flats, these hook zones, they no longer match. They turn into zone, and they're just dropping to a certain area of the field. And these type of route combos will always kill zone because there's just too many openings. You got the sidelines are open. I mean, the seam is open. And then even, if we're not sitting underneath here, this drag is eventually going to get open too. So never shade your coverage when you are playing match. Okay? Just don't do it. Now, there are other route combos people will try to utilize. And one of the most common things people will try to do is flood the middle of the field. A lot of people like formations like this because not only can you attack the sideline like I just did, but yes, you also can attack the middle of the field with something like this. You can have like a post, drag, return route, and then this guy on a slot fade. So let's just look at how this plays that stock, and then I'll get into what I would do to make it a little bit better. So if I'm just in this cover 9 stock, as you guys can see here, this is solid, right? You'll see there's really not anything just blatantly open. But once again, if you go into the replay and break down how this coverage works, you'll see why I prefer to use the quarter flat, which is this guy right here. So first of all, this deep zone, he's going to match onto the slot fade. We're not really worried about that. Now, the soft squat, once again, he does not have a flat route. So because there's no flat to pull him off of this guy, he's going to match onto the return route. This hook zone will match onto the crosser, and the 3 rec will match onto the drag. Now, what is really open here? Honestly, the only thing that's even remotely open is the return route, and that's why me as the quarter flat, I like to user him because if I do see somebody gaining leverage coming over the middle of the field, I can help. So let's go back into the play. Let's set that up again because, like I said, this is an extremely common type of play somebody will call. It's just something like this because they know that, in these types of formations, it's very hard to defend the sideline and the middle. So when you have a setup that attacks the middle like this, with the first one, which attacked the sideline, it's really tough. Like no zone defense will ever defend that at all, any way possible. It's not going to happen. But as you guys can see here, Match actually does a great job. I help out on that return route. They're going to take a sack. Now I do want to show you guys the thing that would really, I would say make this a little bit more challenging to defend. And that's kind of what I alluded to earlier. If somebody sends the running back out of the backfield on, say, a flat route, that will actually influence the soft squat. So watch the difference here with the running back on a flat. Watch what happens. You'll see that unless I go user that running back, that the soft squat is not going to play well. So what I have to do is always be aware of the running back. Now, because I ran over here and defended the running back, the soft squat was fine, right? But if it wasn't for my user responsibility, the running back would mess up this play, right? So you need to be aware of the running back. And if you see the running back go out, go guard him. Because then another thing that people will do is they'll actually send the running back out of the backfield. They'll try to use this receiver over here, put him on like a speed out, as kind of like a decoy to open up the running back. So once again, you always in this type of defense got to be looking for the running back when they're running these types of formations. Because again, if he goes on a streak, that's your job to go guard him. I did that. There was nothing open. Now, as I mentioned earlier, soft squats can get pulled down by flats. So that's why I'm not a huge fan of running this coverage against a more spread out formation, especially if there's a trips. Because the easiest way to pull down a soft squat is just to have like a slot receiver on a quick out or something like that. And if you're spread out, you can do a fade, seam streak, and you can see how this could be a problem. Now, we still do have three defenders over there, so they should be able to navigate this reasonably well, but still, I don't feel like this is the best coverage to be in as we just got the reddest of all red throws. But if I go in the replay and I'm just going to do, you know what? We'll just go into replay right now because even though it's a bad throw, you can at least see what I'm talking about. So you see how this speed out pulls down the soft squat. And because that happens, you can see the safeties in kind of no man's land. To be honest, I should have just thrown this because the safety was cheating to the middle. But even at that, yeah, I mean, you can see like if there's a fast receiver here that gets a step on this guy, that's going to be a hard throw to defend if we execute it. But you can see what I mean. Because the speed out pulls this guy down pretty quickly, safety's kind of he got a problem. He has two dudes he has to really cheat on, and whichever one he doesn't really get in position for is going to be open. That's why, honestly, it's really beneficial to have lots of different coverage checks or calls in your audibles. So if somebody comes out in the compression that's very common online, you have something you can go to. But if they happen to audible to something a little bit more spread out, you can check into something else so you don't have these weaknesses.